Hey, lovely. Welcome back to Fostering Kingdoms. Can I just ask you, how available are you right now? I know, strange question, but being available isn't always talked about in the fostering world. But today, we're going to be diving into it because somewhere along the way, many of us have started to live as if we need to be available all of the time. We always need to be available to reply, always available to saying yes, always picking up anything that people just drop on us, always adjusting our lives around to everybody else's wants and needs and demands. And I just want to just gently pause here and say that this was never the intention of fostering. Yes, I understand that we are here to care for children. And yes, we work alongside professionals. And yes, there are moments that require us to have some level of flexibility, but it also doesn't mean that we are constantly available to everybody 24/7. And yet, if we're honest, that is how many carers are living. There's emails coming through at all hours, messages that can be made to feel really urgent, but often they're not. Requests that don't always quite fit, but we always feel pressured to say yes anyway. Because we don't want to be seen as that difficult carer or being seen as unhelpful or like we're not committed to our jobs or roles or children in the care. And over time, that way of living, it really does start to take a toll. And it's not always sudden, but it does take effect slowly. It shows up in exhaustion, frustration, sometimes even resentment. And that feeling like you're always on, but you're never fully present, you're never fully valued. And let's be honest, you're never truly seen. And this is where I want to bring something in from my own experience. I've been a carer now for almost 7 years. So one thing that I've put in place, it's clear communication boundaries. And I've done this through my email signature. I've set out times that I'm available to respond to other professionals and when I'm also available to have meetings. And outside of those times, I really don't engage unless it is genuinely urgent. Other social workers, they have the exact same in their email signature. They'll have the days when they're working, they'll have days when they're off, and more often than not, I get more out of office emails than I do actual responses. So if we are classed as professionals, do not feel guilty for setting this for yourself as well. And honestly, nothing has fallen apart because I have an email signature block. The children, they're still cared for, communication does still happen, and things still move forward. And if anything, they've moved forward with more clarity and intention. So these are some of the things that have changed. And it's the way that I feel. I'm not constantly being pulled in so many different directions throughout the day. I'm not constantly spending my day reacting to emails and children's behaviours. I'm not living in a place of pressure where I constantly feel like I have to respond to people. But what I have noticed is that people have actually started to respect the boundary that I've put in place. And honestly, just from that one small thing, it's made me a better carer, not a worse one. Because having boundaries, it's not about being difficult or awkward, but they're about keeping us sustainable. And this is something that we don't talk about enough in fostering, that you can't pour into children from a place of constant depletion. You cannot show up with patience, kindness, presence, care if you're constantly being stretched beyond your own capacity. So, this is where I gently want to offer you just permission today that you are allowed to pause. You're allowed to pause before responding. You are allowed to say, that doesn't work for our home. You are allowed to protect your family rhythm. You're allowed to not have to explain yourself over and over again. So you can be a committed, compassionate foster carer without being constantly available. And I think this is really important when we look at the bigger picture of the role that we do. Because when we talk about retention, we ask why carers are stepping away from their role and stepping away from fostering and the social altogether. And it's not always about the children that are causing the burnout, but it's the constant pressure around the adults, around foster carers, always feeling like we need to be on, lacking boundaries. The expectations around us, whether it's spoken or unspoken, but the expectations, they are always there, and we're always expected to just be accessible to anyone and everyone. And if we don't begin to shift this for ourselves, we're going to continue to lose good carers. And it's not because carers don't care, it's because they can't sustain the way that they've been asked to live. In Matthew 5:37, let your yes be a yes and your no a no. So there is wisdom in knowing when to say yes, but there's just as much wisdom in knowing when to say no. And this doesn't make you less of a carer. It makes you a carer who is building something that can last. At the heart of fostering kingdoms, it is to be a part of helping carers build fostering journeys that are sustainable, supported, and grounded. Not something that foster carers just have to survive, but something that they are strengthened through. So maybe this is just a small place to begin, knowing that you don't have to be available all of the time. And knowing that that's good, it's okay. And because I know that this can be really difficult to put into words, I've created a boundary template that you can use to help you create your email signature. And it's not to create distance or defiance, but it's to help you create sustainability in your home. So if you're feeling called to that, you can download it for free. It's called Signed Off, and it's available below, and adapt it in a way that feels right for you. Your time is valuable. Your time is so limited, so please protect it. Thank you for being a part of the Fostering Kingdoms community. I'd love to invite you to be an active member today, simply by liking this video, subscribing to our podcast, and sharing this video with a fellow foster carer who may need to protect their time. If you are looking for more support and resources, you can find everything over at fosteringkingdoms.com. But if you're not ready to leave yet, don't worry, we can hang out some more.